What a cool guitar. Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and this video is all about some of the cool new 80s inspired guitars that you can get today for really affordable prices. And one that I'm going to be kind of focusing on is this new model from WestCreek. $240 for this guitar off of Amazon. They've got it in a couple of cool color options, but not just this guitar. We have some other totally awesome options. Guitars that we can choose from that really capture the 1980s styles and vibes, but we can get them for just a few $100s, thanks to all of the modern manufacturing techniques when it comes to guitars. So let's just take a minute and think about this, right? So we've got these brand new guitars, the Aetheris model, I believe it's pronounced, from WestCreek, $240, but then we also have the Firefly guitars, right, that are making the EVH inspired guitars or the George Lynch inspired guitars. All of those are under $300, right around the same price range at this one. And then we have the SBS guitars from Guitar Fetish, Steve Brown sound, which awesomely enough is made in collaboration with an actual 80s or at least early 90s guitar player. The SBS guitars all use those loud, awesome 80s colors and then specs that would be right at home in the hands of somebody like Warren DeMartini or CeCe DeVille. And again, those guitars are maybe a little bit more expensive than the other stuff we're talking about, but still under $400, under $300 in some cases. And of course, we can't forget my personal favorite 80s inspired yet modern guitar is of course my signature guitar with Harley Benton and the holographic finish. You absolutely cannot beat the specs of this guitar for the money, and just look at it. But wait, there's actually one more guitar that we should mention, and I guess the thing that's so cool about this one is that this is an actual 80s guitar that is still being made today, and that is the Kramer Pacer, and in particular the Kramer Pacer Classic. It's got those classic 80s colors, Floyd Rose type bridge, humbuckers, some cool switching and everything, and yeah, super affordable price, under $300 even today. So look guys, thanks to all this stuff, anybody that plays guitar today and loves the 80s or loves 80s style guitar players, you have no excuse, okay? If you can come up with a couple $100s, you can get yourself an awesome 80s inspired guitar. And I'm going to have links for everything I'm talking about in the video description below if you want to check out some of those specific guitars. But now let's talk about this one, because although this looks like we just pulled it out of George Lynch's closet, this is actually a brand new guitar. Now this is from WestCreek, and I've checked out several guitars from WestCreek. In particular, they have an Explorer type guitar, which has been really popular, that I reviewed a year or two ago. And yeah, this is $239, $240 on Amazon, and it's got some of those awesome specs, right? First of all, it's a mahogany body, it's a bolt-on neck here, and it's got this kind of carved neck joint. So even though it's a bolt-on, you don't have a huge block there to get your hand around. 24 frets on this guitar, and yes, they are the rounded ball end stainless steel frets that so many people love. And what are those frets on? Well, it's on a very nice rosewood fretboard, and that is on a roasted maple neck. And I love how they've done the headstock here. I mean, I love reverse headstocks, but they've sort of left part of the wood of the headstock where they have the logo, they've left that just the natural wood grain there, and then they've got the paint on the rest of the headstock. So really well thought out design in terms of the aesthetics of it, right? Because you've got just enough wood there to have the logo, but then the black ties in with the dark color of the rosewood fretboard, and then you've got black hardware, black pickup covers and so forth. Really just beautiful looking guitar. Also, they have this color, and then they have the same design, but done in sort of like a purple or like a violet purple color. Really beautiful as well. And I wasn't planning on reviewing this guitar, but I actually saw this reviewed on the Bald Shredder's channel, and the guitar looked so cool I had to have one for myself, and so here it is. Now, I've been playing this guitar for a little while in preparation for this review, and there are a lot of things I love about it. There's a couple things that I don't really like, but I want to go over all that stuff after we get into the playing demo, because first I just want you to hear how it sounds. And there's coil splitting and all that stuff, so we'll listen to all of that. But of course, guys, real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new affordable guitars and staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, let's go ahead and plug this in, and I'm going to plug it into my good old Fender GTX 100 amplifier. I've got a few like 80s inspired presets I'll run through there, and then some more standard tones and stuff. But yeah, let's plug it in and listen to how this sounds. Okay guys, so there it is. They're calling this the WestCreek Aetheris. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, you can basically call it the Tiger Stripe, the WestCreek Tiger Stripe guitar, right? Definitely super strat territory, just without a Floyd Rose bridge. That's the only thing that would make it even more of an 80s super strat, is if it had Floyd Rose or some, Kaler, some kind of double locking bridge. As it is, it has a 2-point bridge, but recessed, slightly recessed into the body, which is kind of cool. And, you can adjust your springs, tension, and all that in the background here. Also, it has a push-in arm, which is nice. And it's a nice snug fit, but without getting jammed in there, which is a problem that these bridges sometimes have. You get the arm kind of stuck in there easily. This doesn't have that issue. But let's talk a little bit more about the guitar. A few other specs I should go over, and then I want to tell you about a couple things I don't really like about it. So it's got the truss rod adjustment down here at the neck pocket. I like that. 24 fretboard, and then you've just, you don't have to remove a cover or you take the neck off or anything weird like that. Very easy to adjust the truss rod. And I did have to make a truss rod adjustment when I got the guitar out of the box. The other thing is, these are kind of bare knuckle looking pickups, but these are just generic WestCreek pickups. The control layout on this guitar is kind of interesting. On one hand, it's very standard. It's a three-way toggle and a single volume and a single tone, but you can do coil splitting on both of these pickups, right? And the way it works is both of these controls you can pull up. And so even though one is the volume and the other is the tone, they both work as coil splits for their corresponding pickups. And I guess it's not super intuitive to me to use the controls like that, but what it allows you to do is you can have like this one down, and so you can leave the controls, this one down, this one up, you leave the controls like that, and then you have a humbucker in the bridge and like an equivalent of a single coil in the neck, and then you just switch between them with the toggle switch, or you could even do down on this one, so now you've got the neck humbucker, up on here, a single coil in the bridge, and then you can switch between that. Normally, you would run across something where maybe just the tone knob, you pull that up and it splits all the coils on all the pickups. But this one, you can do them individually, but you still only have a volume, a single volume and a single tone. So it kind of lets you do a lot of things, but reduces the amount of controls you actually have. Now, on the topic of the controls and the pots in particular, these are extremely low resistance pots, potentiometers on here. So it takes no effort at all to move these knobs. I personally don't really like that because I feel like it's very easy to maybe accidentally move it when you're strumming, and I almost feel like you could just move the guitar and it would almost move the knob on its own because there's so little resistance on these things. But on the other hand, it might be good if you're trying to do like volume swells or something like that, where you're using just like your little finger to move it. So it's a personal preference, but I would like these to be a little stickier, take a little bit more effort to move the knobs and stuff. But again, it's a very minor thing, but just something to keep in mind. Now, the other thing about the guitar, which straight up, these tuners, okay, these tuners are not very good. It holds tuning okay, but it's a little difficult to get the guitar in tune because there's a lot of slop in these tuners. And you need the tuners to really be good because you don't have a locking nut or anything like that. So it's just when you're tuning these, I found like, you start turning them and it doesn't actually start to move the string for a little bit. There's too much play in the tuners. And then if you're going to tune, I always tune flat below the note and then come up to it, right? But in order to do that, you really got to move these tuning keys more than you normally would. So if there's anything that could be upgraded on the guitar, the first thing I would do is to replace these tuners with Spurzels or Grovers or something else like that. But look, it's $240, okay? I'm going to accept that there's going to be a few shortcomings. And the graphic, right, is super cool, but you can obviously see it's a graphic that's just on the body. It doesn't go around the back or the sides or anything like that. But look, it looks awesome. It definitely captures the vibe that we're going for here. At a glance, it looks great. Close up, it looks great. They did a really good job. And the other one looks really cool as well. That sort of purple blue, but still with the tiger stripe graphic. Very cool stuff. Now, I weighed this guitar. It was just a hair under 8 pounds. It was like 7.8 pounds. So pretty standard for like a full thickness body, super strat type guitar. Nothing really out of the ordinary as far as the weight goes. The neck profile is pretty round. It's kind of a C-shaped neck. It has a satin finish on it, or maybe even a matte finish. So it's very, very comfortable neck, easy to slide around on, but it's maybe a little rounder than you might expect for an 80s inspired shred guitar. Definitely not, you know, Ibanez Wizard neck territory or anything like that. It's still kind of, you know, it's round and it kind of fills the hand. So yeah, I mean, it's another personal preference thing, right? I personally would like a little bit more of a D shape, a little flatter of a neck as far as the profile, but still a great neck, very easy guitar to play. And look, as far as these pickups go and just the guitar overall, it's a great guitar. The pickups sound really good, despite them being pretty close together because it's a 24 fret fretboard. You know, there's still a nice difference between the sounds of the two pickup positions and everything. So yeah, WestCreek has been making some really cool stuff. They've done a great job on this guitar, and I'm really thrilled that we have now yet another 80s inspired shred guitar that we can get for just a few $100. I love that. Okay, now look guys, let me ask you, of all the guitars that I was talking about in this video, like at the beginning of the video, this one here, the Fireflies, the Kramer Pacer Classic, my holographic finish Harley Benton guitar, and the SBS Steve Brown sound guitars, out of all that stuff, which one is your favorite? And if there's anybody out there that owns some of those guitars, let us know what you think of it down in the comments section below. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed checking this out. I want to give again a big shout out to the Bald Shredder over on his YouTube channel, because that was the first place I actually saw this guitar. That's what inspired me to get it. So again, there'll be links for everything I was talking about in the video down in the video description below. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.